I have been studying and learning to decipher cosmic alignments and how they reflect cycles of human evolution for over 20 years. As I create this video in October 2023, the alignment of planetary bodies suggests that we are living in historic times, a shift of ages, and a crossroad for humanity. A shift of ages occurs approximately every 2,000 years, and by its very nature brings a certain amount of chaos. Chaos always precedes change, a letting go of old patterns in order to make way for new ways of thinking and existing. In simplified terms, our current shift is prompting us to progress from the age of Capricorn, which represents top-down hierarchical structures, to the age of Aquarius, which represents community, collaboration, and grassroots efforts. During the age of Capricorn, we collectively experienced the expansion of government systems that intruded into our lives with increasing rules and regulations. We have had less and less input as governments usurped our freedoms and dictated personal choices. The emergence of Aquarian energies presents the opportunity to correct the imbalance, to reclaim our voice, and take back responsibility for our personal welfare. Among other qualities, Aquarius is rebellious, seeks freedom, and places focus on the individual and what talents or abilities each can contribute to the whole. In the late fall of 2016, leading up to the inauguration of a new President of the United States, there was a rise in the levels of unrest among American citizens. I felt called on a mission to help calm the energy in Washington, D.C., where the ceremony was to take place. On the eve of December 16th solstice, I charged 7 quartz crystals with light language as I held each crystal over the flame of a candle. I could feel the energy of the light language was distinctly different for each crystal. I spent the following day planting the crystals in strategic locations on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol, the National Archive Museum where the founding documents are kept, and the Eclipse Park at the south side of the White House. Once the crystals were in place, I circled the grids multiple times in a clockwise direction while speaking light language. All the while, I held the intention of creating a calm, enlightened space for the transition of leadership in the nation. In January 2017, the day prior to the inauguration ceremony, I revisited these sites a second time. Again, I circled the grids, speaking light language, and using my hands and eyes to direct the codes. I held the intention of fortifying the energy of the grids and encouraging enlightenment for all American citizens. In early 2023, while enrolled in a course on gridwork practices, I felt a pull to return to Washington, D.C. to re-energize the crystals and grids I had set in place in 2016. Over a period of weeks, I prepared for my mission. I tapped into moments of remembrance and listened to lectures. Inspiration filtered in, and a plan unfolded for my next level of grid work in the nation's capital. I studied the ley lines that traverse the country and Washington, D.C., and was astounded to observe that for much of my life I had either lived or worked in locations on or near a ley line that runs across mid-America through the White House and the Capitol building. I have felt for years that I have a guardian role for codes that are stored in sections of Washington, D.C., in the mall, so making the connection with the logistics of the ley line was a profound moment for me. I was drawn to read the founding documents, the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution and amendments, and felt that it was important to have the energy of these words in my field as I conducted my grid work. I also intensively studied the cosmic alignments and various interpretations of their significance. I became aware that the eclipse window between April 20th and May 5th of 2023 presented an opportune time to visit Washington, D.C. to recalibrate the energy of my crystal grid. The eclipses are seen as periods of revelation, endings as beginnings, death and rebirth. The eclipse window is thought to amplify the transformation that is naturally occurring in human consciousness. I intuited that my mission and intention was to plant seeds for peaceful self-governance. My crystals and light language would help lay an energetic blueprint for this intention, and the codes would have a ripple effect in the etheric realm. I decided that my mission should include the following steps. 1. Print images of the U.S. Capitol, National Archive Museum, and Eclipse Park. 2. On May 3rd, charge 7 quartz crystals with light language to recalibrate them. Lay the crystals on the printed images at the location of my 2016 grid. These crystals would remain in place on the virtual grid when I traveled to Washington, D.C. 3. On May 4th, upon arrival in Washington, D.C., take time to center my energy. Listen to my Mary Magdalene Codes light language video created in 2021, just prior to beginning my work, to help me receive guidance from my own divine internal compass and knowing. 4. Walk to each grid point. Once in location, listen to the light language that I had recorded on May 3rd. 1 crystal per grid point. 5. Walk counterclockwise around the Capitol 3 times while speaking light language. Use my eyes and hands to direct the codes. 6. Follow the same procedure at the National Archive Building and Eclipse Park. Now, join me on my mission and feel the intention in your heart. This is how we amplify the ripple. This is how we, the people, can lay the crystalline etheric template for peaceful self-governance. We begin with the grid at the U.S. Capitol. As you listen to the light language for each crystal, add your intention for wisdom, integrity, and peaceful self-governance. This is a recalibration of the crystal grid that was laid around the United States Capitol, the United States Archives and Museum, and the Eclipse Park in front of the White House. The grid has been in place since the solstice, December solstice of 2016. The crystals are now being recalibrated for the lunar full moon eclipse in Scorpio of 2023, May. United States Capitol, crystal number 1. Di ikianamo sanada betehiana salanana huana seta kulana yanatu sokatala nanamanu seti hanatu Glekian chonto kwata le manu kasapia katakea la nyanana su se ilu kwandaya kwatayan kantoya le minisuaka se kihishishinamano le kianana ikabwanta lianamane katanka kule nentia kashana manaya ku betakasi ilimine ulamana asa katakia se li anchaparianka taku unamanaya kwa se ilimine katakasu ulamana katakatia katakula mane kasa United States Capitol, crystal number 2. Lo quantaki ki no o olea kantiki arinki hi ono aya taia no ataya ko andali di ko antasi ilunga angwa te ki I ilo quantaki I ila monoa se I ilo no a nda I nda and out uk alini I ila bataya u a nda ang ulini alu kwana ka a loko a I u a lama longai shongai to quantilini ne hu hani anji yongo takla inji ko shonyo na ya la katoku u a I so anji shiano a olanji kila no akanti sisi akwa longwa a dizigi yongwa takandi zigwanda kala brianka kishishishishishishishishisho. United States Capitol, crystal number 3. Ya unko kua angili andaka aingi ohuna naiti ala kandake. So oko ola nananayaka iki isisiki nano uli andaka ila kanta klogo oka kakakakaka. Se ina mana ada lea ola ingi sika no ungu alabadi kikiango ka anga hu hanga kakaku ai ongo talia nana sekechashu uko ata eleme jindia kalikia na mana wataklia mana ku aliakataku se akwaniakataku aka. Kwaya tisiki inawanda te kialiano doguaka ya sanka uuna mana takliano loa atise akanchi pia dokula ne akaya kwantaki se kata leono mwanda katase kilia mana gayanta kasu uantase shishona manayaki dayanto kwala manayaka sanka shanchaya lo maniada sekia la managa tisia quanta ke aki a le anamonoa saka shonomo anga taklea koanaya saka sokwante seklia na manoa kaya meki and shantiaka alamanene aqua takiaku. During one of my laps around the Capitol, I felt drawn to a tree on the south lawn that I had never noticed before. I stopped to enjoy the energy of this grand tree as I did my walk around the ellipse. I could not help but wonder what dynamics this tree might have witnessed in all the years in this strategic location. The tree, which was planted 102 years ago, had magnificent energy. It had a message to share. Honi goando kwa di kihi onto hu ande ho ondo ani kihi ano goana sehi ango honia ele kilo kanta eliano unga ayano kwa tasaria uleani ikiano undo kwa alapatase hangwa atikwa antitisia kwana dati hiklea no anga atasi kishonamana aya kondo undo ulamanatasa shona kataleano ungwatakli shontokwa ala namatakatseaku dusyanamana ataseaku. Now on to the National Archive Museum. National Archives Museum, crystal.
alo, ua alo o, hua alo o, hua alo o. Uala maya hainga alana alana uanana olanane se ilianana ualama alianana aliane alununua alananane anananaya alananaya sua aka atula alunu antikile menea ualamana akataki hu lamana atuku se tekilia na manaya tuku utopua anda ula nananaya kwa se ondo kwa tali di ano moala di ano andi shishana mano hai alamana lamana ai yakataku shishana mana alamana so alamana Seikataku, sakatakuaka.
Last stop is the Eclipse Park on the south side of the White House. From the apex of the grid are direct views to the White House and the Jefferson Memorial.
Aion waiki, ainde iluanai. Saya kotaya na noho, ayana, ualano ulia kasiki, hialanama, hi iono aie, hi lokwanana, seya, ayanana, uanana, ayanana, anji shishono no anga la briancata, sekata kasi ishishishanamano, elekanamanyaka taku utapata kasa kelepitianka taku atakala menye kasi sikata brianka taku alamana so akashishinamane ale anano ualanamana akatakase shukatakatia shukatakatakataki ilanyada kataku she oanaya Itaka sakataku. Crystal 2, Eclipse Park. Geta shu ono anta elingo ataka ainto kwa sisia kataklea na manaya eleki iliki na mano uganda kalaki hishishina no hayu akataki ilia nanaya kwa ta sa shishina mano aka ilia nya akataku pataka sakataki alabadianka taku ula na kutoko pataki sakataku la na katakariaka taku akafusha na mataki akala maniaka taku setaki yapataku su ai akataku ai upataka ai utakataku la mane kiki ine mena sukatakatapria kataku la mania to patakia takalia manu gorbirianka taka sakatakte isho muku ala mane kitakasi shishana mana katakte ila manaka takiaka. Crystal number 3, Eclipse Park. Atogua ayula anda lingo ua anda akan su ai kai anja kashai akatoku ha sokotoku ha sokataku linyayaka sakatakula manaka takea la yangendiaka ayanya mani hele kiona takila na manada te tiakura la maneka da brianca sekataku ania aliana na wapataki sakataku wapatatian kataku la mania kadabria hupataki la manaka hupataki hatalia alamnia teketchanya na manaka takule mene kadabria katakuaka malamane batasawaka.
As I arrived home at the end of this mission, I was greeted with this sight: the Scorpio full moon bright in the sky, representing death, rebirth, and transformation.